Relationships in Hollywood, in Hollycult. Wow, I mean in Hollywood, just do not dare last. Now I'm going to make a bit of a digression in telling this story, but you'll soon see why I'm telling it and why it makes sense for today's topic. So recently I was scrolling through Snapchat. I know, I still have it. And let's just say I am easily bamboozled and more formally baited into clicking on, como se dice, crappy content. Now, if you're not familiar with how Snapchat works, let's say you deleted it ages ago like I was supposed to. Right under your mutual stories is a discovery page where you can find influencers and celebrities' public stories, whether you subscribe to them or not. They're going to show you them. And B, these mini channels and pages you can subscribe to that gives you content in short story form. Now, a lot of these pages or channels dedicate content over a specific niche. So over a series of snap stories on, say, a gossip channel, you may see a story of how mommy Kylie and baby Stormy had their first huge falling out. And me being the dummy who's overly curious all the time, I click on it because now you've hooked me. Now I want to know. Now I need to know why baby Stormy stormed off from her first fight with her mommy Kylie. Now you may be wondering, Bree, how does this tie into today's topic of the failure of relationships in Hollywood? Okay, so on Snapchat, there is a particular niche of content that I find myself clicking on more than others. And that is none other than celebrity dating drama. Whether you like to admit it or not, I think we all kind of follow celebrity dating drama. As much as we like to say we're not invested in others' relationships, and especially in those in the public eye, we are. You know, we all follow that one celebrity couple. For me, it's Tom and Zendaya, that we just need to know how they're doing. We have to get updates. You know, we need to validate whether there is any trouble in paradise, like the front page on the magazine in the grocery store is suggesting. We need to check into it, you know? And like a lot of us kind of too also live vicariously through others' relationships in the real world anyway. But we all see headlines, not even just on Snapchat, but just on the internet all the time, of celebrity couples getting together and breaking up all in the span of 2 months, and sometimes less than that. But it's really pointing to a huge problem in Hollywood, as if there isn't already enough, of the failure of relationships in Hollywood and why they just don't have very great shelf life. But before we get into any of that, hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bree with an E, and I upload a variety of content every single week pertaining to TV shows, movies, pop culture, and controversial people and things. So if you're interested in any of that, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to turn on post notifications. You can do so by hitting that bell notification so that you're notified every time I post. But if you don't want to, that's cool, that's okay. Just make sure you check back in every week for new uploads. And lastly, girl, the last thing I need you to do is give this video a big thumbs up, as it helps so much with the algorithm and making sure people find this video as well as my channel. And if you want to see my face again, of course, do so. In this day and age, celebrity couples are breaking up left and right. It honestly seems impossible for celebrity couples to actually settle down. I'm talking kids, I'm talking marriage, but most importantly, settle into some sense of stability and routine. Which leads me into my first real reason why relationships in Hollywood just don't last very long. And that is because there is no real sense of stability to be able to foster a long-term relationship. Now, in a fast-paced world such as acting, singing, dancing, or whatever a person is famous for in Hollywood, you can imagine their jobs are quite demanding. They require a lot of time away from home and thus interrupts any sort of sense of establishment and routine in one's life. So when these celebrity couples step into a relationship, they soon realize they don't really have time for each other. They have these very obvious different colliding work schedules, and especially when they're still young and new and hot in the moment and wanted for every next big project or gig, these two celebs run into a brick wall where they realize they cannot give each other the time they both need. They realize they literally do not have the time to spare for one another, and thus their communication goes stale as they are not able to see each other as often as they may want to. Now, speaking of the couples who don't see enough of each other, we also have the complete opposite of that. The couples who see maybe too much of each other. That one starts to fear the classic labeling of being known solely as their significant others plus one. Like that's all they've become known for is dating this person, when they've somewhat worked hard to create a name for themselves. They've somewhat worked hard to be remembered for their craft and not just dating this person. So I feel like we see this happen the most in co-star relationships or working relationships in Hollywood in general, be it they started dating after working on a specific project together. And I feel like it's interesting to note that a lot of times the particular celebrities we see getting into these relationships, these co-star relationships, don't exactly happen to be the veteran celebrities, but more so the new celebs in the game. The celebrities who are kind of in their early 20s, mid 20s, they're just now breaking into the acting scene. They're just now landing their first big gig or acting role. But because these are the types of celebrities stepping into these co-star relationships, that when they start dating their co-star, or when they start dating another famous celeb, their ego may be hurt if their partner is more famous than them. They get jealous because even though they've been in the spotlight for years and years, or maybe even decades, overnight they just become known as this celebrity's girlfriend or boyfriend. The other starts to become insecure and bitter and jealous over the success of their significant other and need to find someone who's under them or at their level. For some celebrities, they just need to be the talk of the town. They need to be their center of attention and focus at all times. Now, in being the talk of the town and the center of attention, we also have those celebrities who, quite frankly, cannot get enough of themselves. Which leads me into my next real reason relationships in Hollywood just don't last very long, is because these particular celebs aren't looking for love. They're looking for the next fling. They're looking for the next hookup. They like the fact that random models and men are in their DMs lusting after them, yearning after them, wanting to hang out, so to speak. And I think it's also fair to point out that this lifestyle of celebrity and stardom kind of really poisons you in the mind to thinking that what is the actual point of being in a relationship. It promotes very much hookup culture. It is no sense of like settling down and sticking to one person because everyone wants you. Everyone is lined up to have your kid, babe. Go for it, I guess. And like some celebrities, fairly enough, are kind of guarded because, you know, they have this high level of status. They have all this money and sort of clout, so to speak. So they don't want to really open their heart to someone who potentially may just leech off of them and is just with them solely for their money and for their status rather than for them as a human being. It just feels like in Hollywood, it's so hard to settle down as a celebrity. You're in your prime and everyone wants you. It's kind of hard to like not be a thought. You know what I'm saying? Now, lastly, another reason relationships in Hollywood just don't last very long is due to the age gaps. It's no secret that when you turn 18, as soon as you turn 18, before you've even turned 18, the groomers and the pedophiles of Hollywood are ready for you. It's honestly, truly so disgusting. And you know, it's both the male and female celebs who are guilty of sexualizing these young adult celebs very, very early on, and even sometimes before they've even become an adult in the eyes of the law. In Hollywood, if you've just turned 18 or you're still kind of in your young adult stage, say emerging adulthood, you can expect to see adults well into their 30s trying to get at you. Hollywood sure does force you to grow up faster because you have to act the part and dress the part. At the core, we can all agree most 19 to 20-year-olds don't have very much in common with 27 to 30-year-olds. It's just really weird to see any grown man, celebrity or not, vying for the love and attention of a 19-year-old. It's just it's weird, and it shouldn't be a common thing, but honestly it's so much of a common thing that no one even really bats an eye at it anymore. But that's gonna complete today's video on why relationships in Hollywood just don't have very great shelf life and thus don't last very long. If you enjoyed today's video, please do, as always, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also check to make sure you are subscribed and turn on post notifications so that you are notified every time I post. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you agree with my reasons I listed today? Do you have any reasons yourself of why relationships in Hollywood don't last very long? Just let me know. But with all that being said, guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!